Hello YouTube fam, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tina and I make videos on lifestyle, home, and DIY projects every single week. Before we jump into the video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support on my last video. You guys left me such kind comments for the powder room makeover, so I really appreciate that and I love that you guys love it as much as I do. And if you missed it, be sure to go back and watch it. But for today's video, we're doing some DIY dupes. You guys seem to be really enjoying those, so we're going to tackle some expensive pieces and making them for a lot less. And in this video, I really want to try and break down all of the material costs. So that's going to be fun to see how much less we can actually make it for. I also want to give a big thank you to today's video sponsor, Ana Luisa. They're doing a huge sale right now. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you guys probably noticed that I wear their jewelry pretty much every single day. These hoop earrings that I have on are a top favorite of mine, and I have sensitive ears, so I love that they have quality pieces without the luxury markups. I'm always impressed when I go on their website because they constantly have new collections coming out. My newest favorite is this necklace right here. I've been wearing it almost every day and I'm obsessed with it. I have some of my favorite Ana Luisa pieces in this little bowl here, and I absolutely love their earrings. They have not tarnished and they honestly look as good as the first day that I got them, so I love those. I totally gasped when I first saw this piece. I love all of the details in it. It has such a beautiful sheen to it, especially since there's a nice contrast between the gold and then the white, and I always get compliments when I wear this one, so it is a total favorite of mine. And this one right here is a bracelet. I used to wear bracelets all the time. I'm trying to get back into them because I wear all other types of jewelry except for bracelets, but this one is an absolute favorite as well. And if you like this style, they also have a necklace as well as earrings and even a ring, I believe, so it is super cute. And yeah, these are some of my favorites. They're always on rotation and I absolutely love them. And I'm a sucker for good packaging, so I love that each one comes in one of these baggies, and these ones are actually magnetic, so they're perfect for traveling. I have so many of these and I use them over and over again. All of their pieces are ethically sourced and produced, and they are also 100% carbon and water neutral, which is really awesome. So I love supporting them and sharing them with you guys because they are very eco-conscious. And if you've been eyeing anything on the Ana Luisa site, they're doing the biggest sale of the year, so everything is buy one, get one 60% off. I think those would make a great gift for a loved one, or you can also treat yourself. So if you guys want to check them out, I'll have all the info down below in the description box. They have styles that will suit anyone and I cannot recommend them to you guys enough, so I hope that you check them out. And with that, we're gonna jump into the video, so let's get started. I've been wanting to DIY a blob mirror for the longest time, and I saw this one on the Anthro site. I will pop it up right here and it just looks so amazing. The only thing I don't like about it is that it is $698, so it is basically $700. From the description, it says that it's made from plaster, plywood, and a mirrored glass. So I figured that I could probably DIY this. With this DIY, you can make it as large or as small as you want it to be to fit your space, and I have the perfect one. Oh, I forgot there's tape all over it. This is the mirror for my powder room. It is a nice oval shape and it is beveled, so it's kind of dated. So this DIY is really gonna modernize it, and also don't mind the mess that you see in the mirror. And if you're looking for a mirror for this project, definitely check out your craft store or even on Facebook Marketplace. I'm sure you can find something super similar. All the other supplies for this project I already have on hand, so I'm definitely going to use my paper mache clay here. I've done several projects with this package and I feel like I haven't even made a dent, so this project is probably going to take out a big chunk of that. And to build it out, I think I can use some cardboard or any leftover materials from my packages. Everything that I'm using for this project is basically free, but I'll definitely do the math to figure out how much of everything I use because this bag was probably $25 and I'll just divide that out. So I traced the mirror onto the cardboard first, and since there was the beveled edge, I wanted to cover that up, and it's about an inch, so I'm just going to mark that all around and roughly sketch in the oval shape. Then, looking at my reference photo, I drew in the shape of the mirror, and I wanted mine to be a little bit thinner than the original, so I'm making the width of some of the parts smaller than the original. And since this is an organic shape, you can really make it however you'd like, so just have fun with it. Okay, here's what we're working with. I think it looks pretty good. I've just been looking back and forth from this photo to over here, and honestly, this was the largest piece of cardboard that I could find that would fit the mirror, so I think this is looking pretty good. Gonna go ahead and cut the middle first with an X-Acto knife, and then probably use scissors for the outside just to make it a little bit easier. I'm actually super happy with how this is looking. I think the shape looks amazing and this does fit perfectly. This is actually coming together better than I thought, and the cardboard that I use is a little bit thin, so I would suggest using something a little bit thicker. I'm just gonna reinforce it and that way we can build on top. I'm actually using dollar store masking tape here, which is a great affordable option, but I did notice it peeling off a bit, especially on the back parts. So I would definitely recommend using a better masking tape to ensure that everything is secure. You definitely don't want this to move around. But to be honest, this step is optional. You can definitely cover it up with the paper mache later, but I just wanted to cover the edges to smooth everything out and get rid of any unevenness. I reinforced some of these smaller spots with more tape just in case. And yeah, again, I think I should have used a lot thicker of cardboard, but you know what? We're still gonna make it work. To build this out and make this more 3D, I actually have a bunch of leftover craft paper from packages and things, and I'm basically just going to crumple that up. I'm gonna glue that down all around the entire thing, and then we can paper mache on top of that. So with this step, the placement of everything doesn't need to be perfect. You just want to get it in the general shape by gluing it down. So see, for the thicker parts, I'm adding in some larger pieces of paper, and this is going to protrude out quite a bit more. And for the skinnier sections, I'm twisting the paper just to raise it a tiny bit. And again, you can customize this to make it as big or as small as you want to make it your own. So after that was all done, I'm going to wrap the whole thing up with some more masking tape, and this is going to help us give more of that rounded shape to cover up all the paper. Do you think I used enough tape on here? So there are a couple of spots that I want to add a little bit more on. It's kind of flat right over here. So I'm actually just gonna use a foil. And if you wanted to use foil for the whole thing, you totally could. So instead, I'm just gonna patch up some small spots. And foil is great because it keeps its shape really nicely. So I'll just grab a little bit here and then I'll crumple it. Kind of to the size that I need it. Then I will glue that right onto it. So just hold it in place. And I'll just add a little bit at a time until it kind of builds this back up. And so far, all the supplies I've been using have been free, so I think I'm gonna be able to make this whole thing for free, basically. With the instant paper mache that I bought, they have a couple of different ratios that you can use depending on what project you're working on. And I honestly just add a little bit of water at a time, and I kind of just eyeball it until I get a thick dough consistency. I also wanted to note here that I'm using a rubber spatula, which is a definite must-have to spread all of the paper mache out onto the surface. After that was looking just right, I added in some joint compound to my mixture, and this is going to help us get a really nice smooth consistency, and it makes it so much less lumpy. So we're going to spread this right on top of the masking tape, and with this layer you just want to get an even amount on there, but I also like to take this time to build up any spots that may have a little bit of a gap. I think this is the third project that I've done with paper mache on my channel, and you guys have probably noticed that I really like it. I've been loving the result of this medium because you can build it up so easily, and the dry times are also pretty quick. It gives a beautiful ceramic or plaster look depending on how you finish it, and there are endless possibilities on what you can make with it without spending a ton of money. And I also find it to be very durable. It is super lightweight, which is great, especially since this is for a mirror project and we will be hanging it on a wall, but I won't have to worry too much about it getting damaged. And once it dries, it is pretty sturdy, and I don't think that it's going to break as easily as something like an air dry clay. Okay, so I literally made just enough to fill the whole frame. It looks really good. I'm actually gonna put this next to a vent, and that way it'll dry really quickly overnight, and then I'll check back in with you guys tomorrow. Oh my god, you guys, I am loving how this is looking. I think it turned out really nice, and I'm just so excited for this project because it really didn't take me that long to create this, so I can only imagine all the other things I can make. To smooth it all out, I'm gonna put some joint compound on top, but if you wanted to keep it this nice texture, you could also just put gesso on top, so that way it's protected and you're good to go. But I of course want to make it look a little bit more like plaster, kind of like the original one, so we're gonna go ahead and put the joint compound on top and then smooth it all out. So using the rubber spatula again, I'm putting the joint compound into all of the little divots from the paper mache. The small bucket of joint compound that I'm using is about $4, and I'm only using a little bit for this project, but having this on hand is so useful for so many different projects. So if you don't already have joint compound in your DIY arsenal, you definitely need to pick some up the next time you're at the hardware store. It does such a great job of adding texture or to smooth things out depending on how you're using it. And once we got to this step, it definitely made a huge difference to make this piece look a lot more like the original. And what drew me to this piece originally is how versatile it is. At first glance, this blob shape seems like it fits only in a modern style, but after seeing Anthropologie style this in a more traditional home, I can totally see this fitting in a lot of different styles. I'm thinking of placing this in our future entryway or maybe in a bedroom, so let me know in the comments where you think this mirror would look best. After the joint compound dried down, I'm using a fine grit sandpaper to get rid of any bumps. And I cannot tell you how much time I actually spend sanding on any project, so whether it's a DIY decor item or a house project, I think this step is just so important, and it really refines everything to make it look super professional and well done, so I like to take my time with this step. If you want to change up the color of this frame, you can totally go with any fun paint color you'd like. I'm keeping it true to the original by making it white with a light coat of gesso on top. And if you choose to keep the joint compound the way it is, I think the texture and the color on it is really nice. So I would highly suggest to spray it with a clear top coat to protect it and seal it all in, especially since it is not a waterproof substance. Alright, so now it's time to attach it to the mirror, so I'm using Gorilla Hot Glue for this part, but feel free to use an epoxy or another heavy-duty adhesive like E6000 for this step. Oh my god, can you guys believe I basically made this mirror for free with things that I already had at home? This mirror fills up a wall so nicely, and I just could not be happier with how it turned out. I'm so excited to find the perfect spot for it in my house, so stay tuned to see where it ends up. I also wanted to break down the cost of this project if you were to buy all of the materials, and in total this project cost around $47.45, which is just a fraction of the cost of the $700 store-bought version, which I think is a huge difference. This project was a total win to update an old mirror, and I just love it so much. Alright guys, so for the next one I want to DIY a lamp, and I have a couple in mind, so I'll pop up a few here on the screen. So I went over to Walmart and I picked up a lamp. I cannot believe I found this at Walmart. It was $35, and the shape of this really reminds me of a Lulu and Georgia lamp, which is $488. And honestly, I like the shape of this better. Plus, this has a USB port at the bottom, which is really fancy. I've never had a lamp like that before. I also grabbed another lampshade, which I don't know if I'll use. Let me go get it real quick. This one comes out more and also has a different color, so we'll see how I feel about it. I can't really decide right now, so I think I'm going to make that decision after we upgrade this. And my plan is actually to use this cement spray paint. This is the first time that I've ever seen this before. It is in a nice gray color, and you could use it on wood, metal, glass, terracotta, and more. So this is gonna be perfect since this is made of glass. I also was thinking that I could do the cement hack with the mesh tape, but I think this is gonna give us a nicer finish. So I'm going to try this out and let you guys know my thoughts. I'm gonna remove the lampshade, and I also taped everything up with some painter's tape to protect the metal parts that I did not want paint on. And since we're spray painting glass, you wanna clean it up with some rubbing alcohol as well. To avoid getting any paint drips, I did really light coats of the spray paint until it covered the glass completely, and I also waited for it to dry in between coats. After doing 2 coats of this, I decided that I do not like the finish of it. I was expecting it to have a stone texture, which it doesn't really have, and it's also very shiny. I don't know if you can tell under this lighting, but I'll insert a different clip here, and I'm going to try a different method. On Shmood's channel, I saw that he used a Mod Podge spray like this one and then just sprinkled cement on top. So I grabbed my big box of cement over here. I'm gonna give that a try, and I have very high hopes for this. Oh my god, that's so heavy. I honestly was kind of winging this part, but all I'm doing here is spraying a little bit of the clear spray paint on top, and then I'm sprinkling the cement onto it. This acts as a glue, and the layer of dry cement sticks to that surface. I used my hand to spread it out just a little bit, and then I shook off the excess cement to move onto another part of the lamp. This method actually was a lot easier than I thought it would be, and if you miss any spots, you can clear it off and just spray on more of the clear spray paint and sprinkle the dry cement on top. This process really did not take too long, and I just repeated these steps until the entire base of the lamp was covered. I got a lot of questions about the cement I use for my projects, and here I'm using Cementol. It's the only one that I've used so far. It's also pretty affordable at about 15 bucks for a 25-pound box, and this has lasted me a really long time, especially since I work on a lot of smaller projects like this. Once this was looking pretty good, I'm going to spray it one last time. This is going to seal everything in, and I'm just going to let that dry down. Okay guys, this is how it's looking after it's all dried. I still see a couple of wet spots here and there maybe, or maybe I'll stay like that, which I'm totally fine with, but I think this looks amazing. It totally looks like stone. I love all the texture on it. It looks so good. And if you wanted to, you could paint on top of the cement as well to make it look more like a stone piece. I'm gonna leave it how it is because I love the look of this. And now I'm gonna take off the rest of the tape and work on the metal parts. When it comes to hardware, I am a total gold gal, so I'm using Rub and Buff in the color Antique Gold to change up the silver. You can use a paper towel or a rag for this part, and this is a really easy product to use. All you need to do is to get a little bit of wax on there and then buff it in small circular motions. I think the finish of this just looks so realistic to brass and gold pieces, and it's definitely a new favorite DIY material that I discovered this year. I have this link below as well as all the other materials that I used in today's projects. The Rub and Buff dries to the touch really quickly, so there's not a lot of downtime. So the last update that I'm going to make to the lamp is adding in a beautiful linen covered lampshade, and that completes this project. This lamp update was super quick and easy to do, and I love the end result. I think it looks like a high-end piece of decor. The dry cement method is definitely something that I want to try more of because I'm obsessed with this beautiful stone texture. I already had all the materials on hand, so the only money I spent was on the lamp as well as the lampshade for a total of $44.89. But if you were to buy the cement and spray paint new, that's an additional $22.96 for materials. Okay, I want to hear your thoughts on today's projects. I hope that you love them as much as I love them. I think they came out so amazing, so I'd love to know which one was your favorite. And if you're inspired by any of my projects, I would love to see them. So be sure to share them with me and tag me over on Instagram. I also post on there every single day. And huge shout out to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget to check out their buy one, get one 60% off sale. I'll list some of my favorite pieces below, so check out the description box for all the details. And if you haven't already, don't don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below for new videos every week. Thank you so much for watching. Stay inspired and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!